into a burning ring of fire. I went down, down. We're going to get back into 9/11 in just a moment with Jesse Ventura. And yes, I'm going to take a few calls for the governor coming up in about 15 minutes. 1-800-259-9231. Kind of a grab bag, see what type of questions you have for the good governor. We'll talk about his book, too, before he leaves us, and he is coming to Austin. I really look forward to that. It doesn't get any cooler than getting to hang out with Jesse Ventura. I'm really excited about it. And Willie Nelson at the same time, and a bunch of others that I'm not at liberty to talk about that are going to be at this event. It just blows me away that this is actually happening. But so Jesse doesn't think I'm kidding him. I've got his email. I guess I could send it to him. Here is the trailer from the TV show they worked on similarly, but I think his is going to make it through. I hope it does. It's about a minute and a half long, called American Conspiracy. Here it is.
You're either evil or you're good.
These are the stories you hear in whispered conversations.
We're both in skull and bone with the secret society. It's so secret we can't talk about it. One would think it wouldn't take very long for that to happen, dealing with people like this.
These are the stories that offer different explanations.
These mothers have played every monster you can imagine, and I do this because I believe in this country.
They are the stories that must be told. Suspicion of our politicians is not new. But the number of citizens who distrust the government today has reached an alarming new height. In New York City, nearly 2/3 of the population believes there is more to 9/11 than has been told.
I believe the title was Bin Laden determined to attack inside the United States.
But where can viewers turn? American Conspiracy. Our nation's preeminent conspiracy expert, radio host Alex Jones, takes us beyond the stock stories of the mainstream media.
Okay.
He asks the questions others won't consider.
Have you been there for the ceremony with the cremation of Carrie?
Frankly, I don't think that's something I need to talk to you about.
He explores the places others only talk about.
You're beginning to sink deeper into the rabbit hole now.
He takes us through the doors others won't enter.
Can't begin to imagine what we're going to discover.
In this first ever adrenaline-fueled docudrama, Alex Jones uncovers America's darkest secrets.
You need to answer real questions instead of lying.
It is the X-Files, unscripted, all the more frightening because it is real.
All right. It goes on from there, but Governor Ventura, what do you think of that?
You got me hooked. I'm ready to watch.
You know, my wife last night, I was telling her about this, and she just got so excited because I frankly, I think you're going to do 20 times better because you're going to be the producer. And I know you don't want to give us, too many hints, but if it gets picked up, what are some of the areas you're going to get into? Obviously JFK, because isn't that what originally woke you up more than 30 years ago?
Yeah, there's certain aspects to the JFK murder that can still be looked at even today. There's certain things that could be done which could shed a great deal of light as to what went on, 40 some odd years ago.
I have the tape of E. Howard Hunt saying he ran the operation. I have the video.
There's things of that nature, and then there's other stuff too out there that I will get into. But JFK, it could lead us to many different things that people have questions about, and that there are conspiracies of. There's a lot of interesting things that deal around Scientology and that religion.
Hey, how about you crash the Scientology church or crash Skull and Bones? Oh my God!
Well, in order to crash Skull and Bones, I might need a whole SEAL platoon.
Hey, Jesse, listen, on air, I'm going to say it, and if it gets off the ground, I want to be a sidekick.
Alex, what? Wait a minute. I want to ask you something. Skull and Bones, now that's like the secret society at Yale University?
Yeah, it's a homoerotic Germanic death cult where Robert De Niro got it right in his big film, The Good Shepherd, and they do satanic rituals. I've actually snuck into one of their meetings that they had separately in California.
The Skull and Bones, that's what they do?
Absolutely.
Well, isn't George Bush part of that?
Yes, it's very Christian.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. How can that be Christian?
Well, let me tell you, Bohemian Grove that I snuck into, I'm sure you've heard of that, Northern California, the mainly right-wing Christian leaders go there and they bus in male prostitutes. I mean, I know you're not attacking them either for their sexual preference, but why are they so hypocritical, Governor?
Well, I don't know nothing about that, but it's simply hypocritical if it's true. I mean, Alex, sometimes you go to places that even I don't know exist.
Governor, do you have a computer in front of you? I love doing the Google game. Google male porn star services moguls, and you'll be looking at mainstream newspapers. Remember Jeff Gannon, the bald-headed gay madam who was in the White House press conferences and who was signed in over 100 times past midnight at the White House? You remember that big...
I don't know a thing about any of that.
Oh, listen. Oh, my God.
Alex, you got to say, you know what? You better let me just stick to what I know about and focus on that. If you get me off track with all this other stuff, I won't know whether I'm coming or going.
I know. Well, listen. You know a lot about stuff I don't know about, and you're in a very powerful position. And kind of like 2 years ago when I gave you Terror Storm, I would love to just be an unofficial advisor and just. I mean, I could send you so much stuff that's admitted, sir.
Well, like I said, we're going to do this first pilot, and then we go. Let's get this one on the air, and once this one's on the air, hopefully we will be brought into series, and at that point we'll be looking for a lot more stuff to educate and entertain the people on.
Well, I've publicly groveled to Lord Ventura. Lord Ventura.
As I said, Alex, we got to do it one step at a time.
No, I know.
Right now, my focus is to do this pilot and make it as good, entertaining, to give people knowledge and to make people question some things and give them enough facts to the ability to raise some questions and ask them and not be afraid to do it.
Well,
we're supposed to be in a free country. Let's always remember that. We're supposed to have the First Amendment here, where we can talk, and again, and I know this has been said many times, but people need to always remember the First Amendment is to protect unpopular speech, not popular, because popular speech doesn't need protection.
Well,
unpopular does.
You know what Mark Twain said? Mark Twain said in the beginning, a patriot is a scarce man, hated and feared, but in time when his cause succeeds, the timid join him, because then it costs nothing to be a patriot. And you really are a great patriot, one of the biggest names to go public for 9/11, and it is becoming more and more mainstream thanks to you and so many others. What is it like to see the phenomenon of government-sponsored terror becoming more and more accepted, sir?
Well, we got to wait and see. Let's see the chips fall and let's see the education take place. But that's hopefully that's what this show will help to do. And as I said, I'm got my fingers crossed that the courage will be there and that it'll get on the air. And the True Network, I think, has seen. Somebody told me in 90 million homes today or 100 million homes.
It's 91 million. Yeah.
That starts the ball rolling.
And it's one of the biggest cable system shows, networks out there. And I tell you, they're lucky to have you. I'm just so excited about it. I mean, Jesse Ventura, conspiracy investigations, it doesn't get any better than that. Getting back into 9/11, there are so many facets to it. But some of the areas that they can't ignore is the White House lying and saying we never heard of plans to fly planes into buildings, when there'd been hundreds of government drills and plans, and they'd even, had Operation Bojinka and other cases where things like this had developed. We also have the war games that morning, just like on 7th.
What gets me the most, Alex, is when I watch Condoleezza Rice testify in state. We had no idea they would take planes and use them as missiles into buildings. And then you find out that, yes, they did. They even had, as you said, practice things that had happened within the government. And what would they do? How can they sit back and look at us and say they were so naive that they didn't have any idea that this type of situation could happen? It insults my intelligence, Alex.
I tell you what insults my intelligence. I'm in Austin, Texas. The main network's in Burnsville, Minnesota, and we have problems about 3 times a year, and it's when we have somebody big like Jesse Ventura. In fact, the last time it happened was when he was on, and you probably can't hear it, Governor, but somebody's cutting into the line. John, I want to switch to the other ISDN right now. Okay? I don't know if you're hearing that crackling.
You're switched.
Okay, it's switched. Yeah, Governor, a lot of weird stuff going on here on our end, but I'm sure it's just a coincidence that somebody cuts our digital lines only when you're on the show.
Well, maybe it's coming from my end, too, because, I wrote about that in my book. The house that I lived in at the time I was governor, it turned out that there's pretty big, strong evidence that my lines were tapped there.
Now, Governor...
And after all, Alex, let's remember... Our Democrats gave the president the ability to do that again.
Well, did you hear? When I was in, you probably didn't, but it was in the Denver Post. When I was in Denver for the DNC, I was going to meet with Cindy Sheehan, and she was doing a big event with Ralph Nader, and I was invited to that. And I'm going to meet her, and when I meet with her, she goes, "Guess what I just caught?" She goes in her room. She's already been checked in. She goes down and eats.